That'll keep me young.
Oh, it's the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. She'll clean up the construction.
Well, you know, Carol.
Joseph, you drive? What's the reason you drive? Is that your bike? Good. So you have a hard time walking? Like your bike?
Yeah. Hills. Yeah. Well, when I saw him there at the meeting, I got what's your, I go. That's white. Tony?
Right there.
Well, I know John.
Yeah.
And we gotta come say hi to him. I always wanted to be a ginger. And so
How are you?
Oh, I see. Here's the stuff.
He's got another copy. So the
my mom and dad never once told me you're going to go to college.
I think it's coming off. Right?
Kevin, we're gonna bring everybody. We're gonna bring everybody on this side.
Okay.
And
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're going to get started.
Yeah, okay.
Good morning. My name's John Pope. I'm the 10th Ward Alderman. I want to thank you all for coming here today on this beautiful late summer morning to join us in this dedication ceremony for Beans Park.
Finally!
There's so many people who are more qualified to talk about the history of this piece of property and its impact on the east side and the community. But I do want to mention that obviously recreational space, open space plays such a crucial role in our environment. And it's odd, this morning I was listening to the radio and they said just that. The need for open space, recreational space where people can join and get some exercise, get fresh air is so crucial. And they made a point that, especially in this day and era, when kids are playing those video games. And any parents here have kids who are always on their phones, their iPads, their games. That's especially essential. And we've noticed more open space is important here in the ward as people are trying to be more independent. We're trying to promote gardens for sustainability, for interaction. And these kind of spaces really appeal to all ages, from young children to the more seniors of our community. They can all partake and enjoy this property. And I've known this property for years. I grew up in Hegewisch, but spent a lot of time on the east side. And this has always been what I considered a park. And over the years, I've learned more about it as the alderman, and have enjoyed it more with the introduction of the bike path. And I think that's one of the great assets is that this fine piece of property, this park, which has done so much for the community, gets to be shown off by people utilizing the bike path. And I know Mr. Beniac did much to make this park what it is today. Spent many, many hours, countless contributions of his time and effort to make it the beautiful space it is. I know people were talking earlier about the 4th of July celebrations and how wonderful those were. So we're really happy to have this park dedicated. And I will say, and I was talking to some folks earlier today, we don't try to do too many dedications. We do honorary street signs and park dedications, and we take those seriously. We get a lot of requests from my office, name this street after such and such, or this park after such and such, this school. And I try to back off of that because I don't think these kind of honorees should be given out too much. I think they should be reserved for the very special people in our community. And today's an easy one. And I do want to thank, where's Judy Lahota from CPUF for bringing this to our attention. Judy was instrumental in saying, let's get this park named for Mr. Beniac, Beans Park. This is his park. I think it's, as many of you said well overdue, but it's very appropriate, and Judy was very tenacious in terms of working with us to get this done. So I'd like to thank all of you. We've got a short program to give more history of the site, and truly honored as we should. At this time, I'd like to just introduce Anita Gilkey from the Chicago Park District and thank her for her involvement and commitment to the park.
I can stand where everybody can see me. Again, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm Anita Gilkey. I'm one of the area managers with the Chicago Park District, and I too want to thank everybody for coming out on this momentous day. This does not happen every day. I did not know him, but I have heard many stories of how he really cared and came out and did things for this park and this community. So I am honored to be here to share in the in honoring his name forever. A park lives forever. Trees, grass, people utilizing, that lives forever, and his name will go on. So thank you for coming out to celebrate. I go through this park every week. I walk over here, I see things. I talk to many of you in the community, and thank you all for sharing information with me about this park. We want to keep it up, especially now. It's got a great name now. We want to especially keep it up. Please continue to talk to me. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for sharing in this event, and let's utilize this park, okay? Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Judy LaHoda, who I mentioned earlier, and all of you, if you don't know Judy, should know her. She's been very involved with the community for years and years and wears many hats, especially with SEPA, the Calumet Ecological Park Association. And she actually knew Mr. Beniac and had some photos with him from a few years ago. So again, this was the driving force in terms of getting this park named appropriately so. So Judy LaHoda.
Thank you. I hope you can all hear me. I'll use my canter voice.
Yes.
SEPA, or the Calumet Ecological Park Association, was born in 1993 when we all were fighting the airport. So we decided to do something good with this area and preserve the natural areas. And a lot of the natural areas were in private hands. This parcel was in private hands up until I think 2010, when they wanted to put a parking lot on there, and John Pastrick, our John, where are you? John, he's our stewardship chairman, and he's also a neighbor. He lives right on Avenue F, so he walks his dog and he keeps an eye on the park. Okay, that's what John Beniac and his neighbors did. So anyway, John is also the main steward at Eggers Grove, and you should really utilize Eggers also. The people in the area should utilize the park systems, the open spaces that are in their area. John said to me one day, or said many days, "We got to get this park named, Beans Park, Beans Park." I says, "What is Beans Park? I've never heard of it." So he told me the story about John Beniac having a heart attack and deciding he wanted to do something, and saw this empty prairies across the street from his home. He lived on 107th Street. And he said, "I'm going to start picking up the clutter," and then he started planting trees and cutting grass. His neighbors saw him and joined him. So they had a little neighborhood stewardship thing going here. So when I spoke to the board, I said John Beniac was actually a steward before it was fashionable. I mean, now you can go to classes for stewardship. John did that. He went to classes. He's a tree keeper. That's why his love is trees. He knows trees. And by the way, after the program, John will take anybody who would like to go up and down this area and tell you about the trees that he's planted. He knows all their names. So anyway, John was saying, "We got to get this park named. We got to get this park named." And as he told me the story about John Beniac, I said, "You know, he sounds familiar." So I looked back in my pictures, and there it was. Republic Steel employee, 1960. We went to a wedding for a pigeon. He was one of the checkers. His Edward Kaczynski, his name was. And there I am on the one side, and there is John and Lillian. So if you want to pass that around.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Unbelievable. That's something.
Now, the most important thing I remembered about John Beniac when I was working was not that I knew him, but I knew his voice. Because he would be coming down the hallway. We were in two separate offices. Coming down the hallway, and you'd hear, oh, ho, 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 ho. And somebody would say, that's Beans. Here comes Beans. So that's how I knew John Beniac until today. So when I talked to the board and I said Mr. Beniac was the first steward on this area, and that we, SEPA and other volunteers, were now doing the stewardship on the area, the board, one of the board members said to me, you're right, we need volunteer stewards. We can't do it all ourselves. So you are all needed, whatever you can do, even if it's just recognition, talking about the area, coming out and volunteering, or picking up a piece of garbage when you're walking down the Greenway. So anyway, after John's passing, the railroad stopped running and they put in the Burnham Greenway. And if you see today cyclists speeding down the Greenway, that's a group, there's a group of about 50 cyclists today and tomorrow going to the Indiana Dunes, from downtown to the Indiana Dunes and back again. So this Greenway connects you up with the whole state of Illinois because it's part of the Illinois Grand Trail System. It connects you up with Wolf Lake, Eggers Grove, you know, obviously, but it connects you up with whole of Illinois and also into Indiana. They have a lot of bike trails and hike trails. Our group is associated with many other groups, and one of the big supporters in this area is the Friends of the Parks, and Irma Tranter is here today. Irma wants to learn. They have all the experts and helped us maneuver our way through the park district.
Hi, Irma Tranter, Friends of the Parks, and we work with so many people that are here today, have worked with, including we worked for years with the aldermen, always to improve parks. And it is our great pleasure to be here today, naming this after John Beniac. The important thing is remember Margaret Mead saying, never doubt that a small group of people can't change the world. They are, in fact, the only people that do that. Remember that it starts with somebody like John Beniac coming out here, taking some open space, and starting to plant trees. One person bringing in others. And that led to a movement that created this park, and then ultimately it was natural that it become part of the trail system leading from the Lakefront Park system all the way through now into Indiana. One man's movement, all of you people joining onto it, all of us joining onto it, leads to this great movement that we're seeing of more parks and open space in the Calumet area. We were just very, very pleased to support the Alderman's initiative to name this, and Judy Lahoda's and Tom Shepard's movement to name this after a great man who really did make a difference in his neighborhood. And I celebrate with you today. And I have to say that personally, I'm a biker, is that clear? And this is one of my favorite bike rides along the lakefront. I can't wait till it's completed, the last 4 miles, so that we can get all the way through and onto this thing. It is one of my favorite places to be. Thank you all for all of your work.
Irma has a great organization, and it's all over the city of Chicago. And there are many groups like ours that are involved with Friends of the Parks. Another local group that we work with all the time is the Southeast Environmental Task Force. Many of you probably know that. Peggy, where are you?
I'm here.
Peggy Salazar is the executive director. And under that group, there's another small, even smaller group trees are beautiful, and they are just a little local group that want to plant trees. And so they've been coming out here and working with John. Where is Karen Newton? Karen, is Karen Newton. Is David Vance here today? David, oh, there's David. Okay, David Vance. They live in South Chicago, but they're in South Chicago and Headwish, and they love this park because they can plant quite a few trees here. Yes. If neighbors want a tree, they should talk to you.
Me or Dave. Dave's actually got quite a few trees. And just remember, people, while I have the floor, I'm just grabbing. You may see John carrying these. These are his version of a water jug. Don't be afraid to help him. These are 2.5 pounds. Water weighs 8 pounds a gallon, so this is a nice little workout. We've had a long dry spell. Sharon, don't laugh, because you're gonna run the volunteer sheet. So speak to me, speak to John if you'd like to help out. We are having a dry, late summer, and John can use all the help he can get. Thank you.
Last year, John received an award for being a drought buster. It was, remember how dry it was last year?
That's right.
Yes, he was a drought buster.
Say it again.
Some of the neighbors, especially on the alley side, let him use their hoses and the water from their houses. And I think one of them is Mr. Salazar. Where is he? Right here. Mr. Salazar. You know where all the pretty flowers are around the trees? Yeah. And a grapevine too. And a grapevine. So, you know, individual people can do an awful lot. They just plant flowers around the trees. So whatever you can do to help is always appreciated, especially by the neighbors that are here, because you're the ones that are going to use this park, and the kids are going to come out here. As far as I know, it's just going to be an open area like it is now. I know kids come out and they play ball here, you know, no organized ball, just they'll come out and toss the ball around. So I want to thank all the John's family, John and John's family, for making this possible, and all the neighbors that joined John years ago to work on this area. So now we are next to the Beniac Greenway. Many more people are going to see this area. I'd like to bring up Jill right now. Jill has a few things to say. This is John's daughter, Jill. She moved away, as many of our children did. And her name is now Stevenson. How many children do you have?
I have 3. Zach, Mac, and Nicole. And 2 of them can't be here. They're away at school. But I just want to take, and I'm going to cry. I know it's good. It's Judy, Alderman Pope, TJ behind the scene here. Pastor Rick, I don't even know you, and I appreciate all that you've done, because
John's back here.
John. Thank you. We got a call from Judy, a year or 2 ago, and started the process. We were shocked because we all moved away. My brother Johnny lives out in Frankfort, Jackie lives out in Tinley, and shocked because, first of all, I didn't know the city bought the land, which was shocking. You know, it used to be, I think, Strazzanti and the railroad people, so we still don't know how my dad didn't get arrested for trespassing on their land, because it was he did. I don't think he was supposed to be here, but it was nice that they kind of ignored the whole situation. So just thank you so much. It's so nice, because he did work hard, and the neighbors all kind of pitched in and just made it a fun place to live. I remember when we were little, I used to have a friend on Avenue E, DeCeros, and I used to run through the prairie and was afraid that I was going to get it, eaten by rats. Because we ran so fast.
I used to love building forts and digging holes.
Yeah, so we just, so it was long coming, and, thank God for the heart attack, because then it made him do this kind of activity. But
you always come back to the east side,
that's right. You can never take the east side out of the east sider. You can leave, but but you're always in there. So really, thank you. You know, we've had so much fun here. All the neighbors, Marge Milano, the Sheridans, Lucy Hughes, who's not here, who was our next door neighbors, who would do cartwheels all the time at the age of 70.
Oh my God!
It was a great place to be. I think more so than the heart attack made him get out was my mom throwing him out of the house. That was probably the best thing that happened, because it's just, you know, amazing that this is happening. And I wish he was here to see it, because if anybody knew my dad, he knew he was, you know, big man on campus. You know, this would be so nice for him to see, and I wish he was here, and I'm sorry. An emotional week for me.
I think, you know, we didn't say too much about the mother or the wife. Lillian, there are stories about Lillian too. She worked in the schools all the time. And I'm sure there's plenty of stories about Lillian. If anybody has any, just pop up with a story. And any of your stories, or even if it's just good wishes, please put it down in the book we have at the table. And sign your name on the list, and put down whether you were a neighbor or a friend, or just somebody from SEPA that wants to wish them good luck.
She just thought it was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, she thought it was crazy.
She thought it was
He
crazy.
was crazy.
He was crazy. But she let him do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my brother, Johnny's wife, Johnny, I'm sure most everybody, probably what most sticks in their mind is the 4th of July parties.
Yes.
We used to have the people lined up down just the streets. We'd have a fire truck on this side, fire truck, cops on that side, cops on that side. It was,
They didn't
it was
see
a world to
anything.
live in. Yeah. And Johnny would have this whole street, and you know, and then the only bad time was when he was making his bombs and blew out our neighbor's picture window.
He paid for it.
Statute of limitations.
He's not here today.
That was like 30 years ago. But so that, you know, and that's how we lived. It was just very casual, very fun life.
It was very fun.
Yeah.
I remember all the fireworks stored in the basement.
Yes. Yeah. And my mother going crazy, wondering if the house was going to blow up. But or the Labor Day picnics we used to have, the bocce ball tournaments that we used to have. Those were just a very fun. And my most vivid picture of my dad is at the very end of the 4th of July celebration. After a few VO and waters, he'd be having the American flag, and Kate Smith would be singing.
Yes, yes.
God bless America.
God bless America. We
That was the best
We sang
thing
it.
ever. And I just, you know, him just.
We should do that now.
Do it, Jill.
And we should sing God Bless America.
Bless America, land that I love. Stay beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with gold. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Yeah, he was.
There's a flyer with today's announcement on it. On the other side are 2 newspaper articles that we use to convince the board that this place should be named for John Beniac, and you're welcome to take them. I hope you do take them for a memory. Anybody else have any memories to add vocally? Okay, we'll bring up your family.
Sure, if the Beniac family wants to come around for the unveiling.
Okay, Jackie Beniac is here. Yes.
Where's that? No.
Sorry.
Glenn.
You can have maybe Jack and Jill on either side. You
Okay.
can pull this tarp
Johnny,
off.
come on over here. You're the representative for Johnny.
Johnny's not here.
Yeah.
He has to work because he's been off for 4 months.
This is his wife, Connie.
All right, how about on 3? Family, you got to get closer, please.
Get closer so we can get you a picture.
Hold on to it, you're gonna pull it down. You're gonna pull down the curtain.
1, 2, 3. Hold.
Let me get a photo.
All right.
Alcohol, it's fireworks.
Alcohol!
It says, hey, it doesn't say anything about fireworks. There you go, nothing about fireworks.
Alcohol, no fireworks. Oh, gosh.
Everyone for coming out, and I'm grateful too because I've learned more about John, and obviously from all the people here, learn how many lives he's touched. And there's so many groups. SEPA was mentioned, Southeast Environmental Task Force. We have business owners. We have St. Vincent de Paul, the East Side Chamber. So many groups represented here today, and it's really an honor. And I mean, you can call John a lot of things. What I've learned today, you can call him a pyromaniac, maybe. Obviously a patriot, and I think you know, steward, which is really something that's appropriate because he did this in a time when it wasn't fashionable to really go out and be active and preserve and enhance things. And his type of efforts have led to not just this park, but I'm glad to say we're doing a lot more expansions, acquisitions, and improvements throughout the 10th Ward. Over in South Chicago, we got new parks opening. We're going to finish the Beniac Greenway here. We're in conversations with IDNR and the Forest Preserve to acquire more properties in Hegwish. Big Marsh, we've got some plans to make that a very open recreational space, and it's all started with efforts like this from John Beniac. So congratulations to the family again, and I'm honored to give 3 signs to the family. They can always keep the park close to their hearts, maybe a wait when not forgotten. So.
Jackie, John, Jill, everybody, look here.
Very nice.
Okay, I was trying to.